Welcome back to my channel, Miss Medicine. In this video, we will discuss about radiological science. If you are new here, subscribe to the channel. Join us on Facebook and Instagram. First sign is the chord sign. Chord sign is a homogeneous hyperattenuating chord-like appearance on an unenhanced transverse computed tomographic scan of the brain. Next sign is the fat halo sign. The fat halo sign is seen on CT scans of the abdomen and appears as a thickened ball wall demonstrating three layers, an inner layer, outer layer of the soft tissue, attenuation between which lies a third layer of the fatty attenuation. Next sign is the cupola sign. The cupola sign is seen at supine radiography as an arcuate lucency overlying the lower thoracic spine and projecting caudate to the heart. Next sign is the split pleura sign. The split pleura sign is seen on contrast material enhanced chest CT images. There is enhancement of the thickened inner visceral and outer parietal pleura with separation by a collection of pleural fluid. Next sign is the reversal sign. Reversal sign is seen on unenhanced CT images of the brain as an inversion of the normal attenuation relationship between gray and white matter. Gray matter is of relatively lower attenuation than adjacent white matter attenuation of the thalamus, brainstem and cerebellum is increased. The reversal sign indicates diffuse cerebral injury in a patient who has suffered an anoxic insult. Causes of reversal sign include head trauma, hypoxia, birth asphyxia, drowning, status epilepticus, hypothermia, bacterial meningitis, strangulation, non-accidental trauma, and other causes of global cerebral ischemia. The reversal sign is associated with poor prognosis and indicates irreversible brain damage. Next sign is the polka dot sign. Polka dot sign is seen on transverse CT images of vertebral bodies. The medullary cavity of the vertebral body shows numerous high attenuation dots stimulating the polka dot pattern on clothing. The polka dot sign on CT images is produced by thickened trabeculae in the vertebral body hemangioma, seen in cross section as small punctate areas of high attenuation. The trabecular thickening occurs due to reinforcement of the osseous network adjacent to the vascular channels of the lesion that have caused bone resorption. This process occurs within the fatty marrow. Differential diagnosis, chondrosarcoma and intraosseous meningioma. Next sign is the Ivory vertebra sign. The Ivory vertebra sign is seen at conventional radiography and refers to an increase in opacity of a vertebral body that retains its size and contours with no change in the opacity and size of adjacent intervertebral disc, giving it a white appearance as opposed to the normal or possibly osteoporotic appearance of the rest of the vertebral column. The Ivory vertebra sign can be seen in both adults and children. In children, typically the result of lymphoma, usually Hodgkin lymphoma. In adults, the Ivory vertebra sign has been associated with metastatic diseases, especially carcinoma of the prostate or breast, and occasionally with osteosarcoma, carcinoid, Paget's disease, and lymphoma, particularly Hodgkin lymphoma. Paget disease can give the appearance of an Ivory vertebral body, but more often the disease is characterized by the picture frame vertebral body. Lymphoma is particularly characteristic where there is an accompanying paraspinal soft tissue mass. Next sign is the crazy paving sign. The crazy paving sign is a pattern seen on thin section CT images of the lungs. It is characterized by a reticular pattern superimposed on ground glass opacity. The term crazy paving is used because the sign resembles the appearance of paths made with broken pieces of stone or concrete. In the crazy paving sign, ground glass opacity may reflect the presence of air space or interstitial abnormalities. The lines of reticular opacities may represent interlobular septal thickening of the interlobular interstitium. The crazy paving sign was initially recognized in patients who had pulmonary alveolar proteinosis. The differential diagnosis of crazy paving sign includes pneumocystis, carinii pneumonia, mucinous bronchoalveolar carcinoma, sarcoidosis, lipoid pneumonia, adult respiratory distress syndrome, and pulmonary hemorrhage syndromes. The highest prevalence of crazy paving sign in the study was seen in pulmonary alveolar proteinosis, diffuse alveolar damage, acute interstitial pneumonia, and adult respiratory distress syndrome. Next sign is the spoke wheel sign, bowel. At CT, the spoke wheel sign appears as fluid-filled, dilated bowel loops that are radially arranged around converging mesenteric vessels that are thickened and stretched. In small bowel volvulus, the shortening and tightening of the mesentery causes the fluid-filled, dilated bowel loops that are attached to the twisted mesentery to lie in a concentric, more peripheral location with the engorged and thickened mesenteric vascular structures occupying the center. The most common causes of small bowel volvulus, that is so-called secondary small bowel volvulus, are adhesive bands and internal and external hernias. The most valuable CT finding for the detection of strangulating small bowel obstruction is poor or no enhancement of the bowel wall after intravenous contrast material injection. Next sign is the antral pad sign. Antral pad sign is seen on radiograph of the upper GIT obtained with orally administered contrast material. The sign refers to an extrinsic impression or indentation on the posterior inferior aspect on the antrum. The impression is typically caused by lesion in the region of head or body of the pancreas. However, it has been shown that the antral pad sign can be caused by a normal gallbladder or by pancreatitis, pseudocyst of the pancreas, or neoplasm of the head and body of the pancreas. Next sign is the boot-shaped heart sign. The boot-shaped heart sign is seen on the frontal chest radiograph of children with decreased pulmonary vasculature. The left cardiac border resembles the shape of a wooden boot. The boot-shaped heart is often seen in patients with TOF, teratology of Fallot, which is most common cause 75% of cyanotic heart disease. The toe of the boot is formed by the upward pointing cardiac apex, which makes an acute angle with the diaphragm. The upturned cardiac apex is described to right ventricular hypertrophy. The narrower upper part of the boot results from a small or absent main pulmonary artery. When TOF is also associated with an atrial septal defect, it is called the pentalogy of Fallot. Right aortic arc occurs in 20 to 30% of patients with cyanotic TOF. Next sign is the air crescent sign. The air crescent sign can be visualized both on radiographs and CT scans of the chest. It is recognized as a crescent-shaped or circumferential area of radiolucency within a parenchymal consolidation or nodular opacity. The air crescent sign is characteristic of invasive pulmonary aspergillosis. During the neutropenic period, CT may demonstrate areas of ground glass attenuation surrounding these nodular opacities. Termed the CT halo sign, this represents pulmonary hemorrhage, and in the correct clinical setting, it is highly specific for invasive aspergillosis. Next sign is Nacclario's V sign. Nacclario's V sign can be seen on frontal radiographs of the chest as a V-shaped air lucency in the left lower mediastinal area. This V-shaped air collection occurs in the setting of pneumomediastinum. Mediastinal air at this location is frequently seen in the presence of esophageal perforation. One limb of the V is produced by mediastinal air outlining the left lower lateral mediastinal border. The other limb is produced by air between the parietal pleura and medial left hemidiaphragm. Next sign is the deep sulcus sign. The deep sulcus sign is seen on chest radiographs obtained with the patient in the supine position. It represents lucency of the lateral costophrenic angle extending toward the hypochondrium. It is important that the lateral costophrenic angles are included on the radiograph, as failure to diagnose pneumothorax may be life-threatening because of the risk of tension. False positive cases of the deep sulcus sign have been described in patients with chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, in which hyperaeration of the lungs deepens the lateral costophrenic angle. Further evaluation with lateral decubitus radiography may be helpful, but computed tomography is more sensitive for confirming the presence of pneumothorax in supine patients. Next sign is the dependent viscera sign. The dependent viscera sign is seen at supine computed tomography in the thoracoabdominal area. The viscera, that is the bowel or solids organs, are positioned against the posterior ribs with obliteration of the posterior costophrenic recess. The dependent viscera sign is seen with diaphragmatic rupture. The absence of posterior support by the diaphragm allows viscera to fall against the posterior ribs to a dependent position. The dependent viscera sign is up to 100% sensitive as a sign of diaphragmatic rupture and 83% sensitive for right-sided injury. Next sign is the CT arrowhead sign. The arrowhead sign, which is obtained after the administration of oral or rectal contrast material, is seen on computed tomographic images as an arrowhead-shaped collection of contrast medium localized to the upper part of the cecum near the orifice of the appendix. In primary sign, most specific is depreciation of an abnormal appendix maximum diameter between outer walls greater than 6 mm without contrast medium distending the lumen. Secondary signs are the presence of an appendicolith and fat stranding gas outside the lumen of the appendix, periappendiceal fluid, thickening of the terminal ileal or sigmoid wall, and lymphadenopathy. Next sign is the cobra head sign. The cobra head sign is characterized by bulbous dilatation of the distal end of the ureter with a surrounding radiolucent halo sign seen within the contrast material enhanced bladder on intravenous urograms. The cobra head sign is classically seen with an intravesical ureterocele. The term ureterocele denotes the cystic ballooning of the distal end of the ureter. This type of ureterocele is also termed orthotopic since it arises from a ureter with a normal insertion into the trigone. Most intravesicular ureteroceles are incidental findings in asymptomatic adult patients. When large ureteroceles can cause obstruction of the bladder neck along with obstruction of the ipsilateral ureter. This results in an increased frequency of calculus formation as well as infection. Next sign is the bridging vascular sign. The presence of multiple vessels along the interface between the uterus and juxtauterine mass, that is a pelvic mass adjacent to the uterus, at color and power Doppler ultrasonography imaging is known as bridging vascular sign. Juxtauterine masses include subserosal myomas, adnexal masses, bowel masses, and other pelvic lesions. The bridging vascular sign indicates the uterine origin of a juxtauterine mass. Solid ovarian masses such as fibromas, granulosa cell tumors, germ cell tumors, dysgerminomas, mixed germ cell tumors or teratosarcomas, metastatic tumors and lymphomas may be confused with subserous myomas owing to their similar imaging findings. Next sign is the molar tooth sign. The molar tooth sign is seen on transverse computed tomographic CT and magnetic resonance MR images obtained at the level of midbrain in patients with Joubert syndrome. The term molar tooth refers to characteristic appearance of an enlarged and horizontal directed tubular structure on each side of the midline emerging from the midbrain. The sign is caused by a lack of normal decussation of superior cerebellar peduncular fiber tracts in patients with Joubert syndrome. Joubert syndrome is an autosomal recessive disorder with characteristic pathological findings of cerebellar Vermean hypoplasia with the midline cleft. Joubert syndrome has also been associated with a constellation of other findings, which include microcephaly, dysmorphic faces, retinal dystrophy, tongue protrusion, multicystic kidney disease, congenital heart disease, unsegmented midbrain tectum, and agenesis of the corpus callosum. Next sign is the Mount Fuji sign. The Mount Fuji sign is a finding that can be observed on computed tomography scans of the brain in which bilateral subdural hypoattenuating collections cause compression and separation of the frontal lobes. The Mount Fuji sign on CT scans of the brain is useful in discriminating tension pneumocephalus from non-tension pneumocephalus. Tension pneumocephalus occurs most common after neurosurgical evacuation of a subdural hematoma. Treatment options for tension pneumocephalus include drilling of burr holes, craniotomy, needle aspiration, ventriculostomy, placement, administration of 100% oxygen, and closure of dural defects. Next sign is the Rigler sign. In the Rigler sign, which is also known as double wall sign or the bas relief sign, both sides of the bowel wall can be visualized on a radiograph of the abdomen obtained with the patient in the supine position. The Rigler sign is the second most common sign of pneumoperitoneum on supine radiographs, with a prevalence of 32% in the studied cases of pneumoperitoneum. Next sign is the sandwich sign. The sandwich sign refers to the cross-sectional imaging appearance of mesenteric fat and tubular structures as the sandwich filling and the homogeneous soft tissue masses as the two halves of a sandwich bun. The CT appearance of mesenteric fat and vessels resembles sandwich filling, while the soft tissue adenopathy represents the bun. There are numerous causes of mesenteric adenopathy: carcinoma, carcinoid tumor, lymphadenopathy syndrome, which associated with acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, tuberculosis, Whipple's disease, and inflammatory bowel disease are among the most common causes. These diseases, however, do not produce the large bulky adenopathy that results in the sandwich sign. This sign is specific to mesenteric lymphomas. Most mesenteric lymphomas are non-Hodgkin lymphomas. Next sign is the goblet sign. The goblet sign is a cup-shaped collection of contrast material that is seen just distal to an intraluminal filling defect of the ureter. The goblet sign is a clue that the ureteral filling defect is a mass rather than a calculus. The slow expansion of a polypoid intraluminal tumorous mass from a uroepithelial carcinoma causes dilatation of the ureter distal as well as proximal to the mass, thus causes the cup-shaped collection of contrast material. On the other hand, the ureteral lumen just distal to a mechanical obstruction which caused by a calculus will have a narrowed appearance due to wall spasm, edema, or both. Next sign is the golf ball on T sign. The golf ball on T sign is seen during excretory urography and appears as a contrast agent-filled cavity, the golf ball, that lies adjacent to a blunted calyx, the T. The golf ball on T sign is a part of spectrum of papillary necrosis and is distinguished by a papillary cavity that lies adjacent to a blunted calyx. The common etiology of papillary necrosis can be conventionally remembered with mnemonic NSAID. It includes non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications seen in sickle cell hemoglobinopathies, analgesic nephropathy, specifically aspirin and phenacetin. infection, specifically tuberculosis and diabetes. Papillary necrosis can be bilateral or unilateral. Bilateral disease usually indicates a systemic or disseminated cause and often results from analgesic nephropathy, diabetes, and sickle cell trait or disease. Unilateral disease is associated with severe unilateral acute pyelonephritis, obstruction, and renal vein thrombosis. Next and the last sign is the tree in bud sign. The tree in bud sign is a finding seen on thin section CT images of the lung, peripheral within approximately 3 to 5 mm of the pleural surface, small 2 to 4 mm in diameter, centrilobular and well-defined nodules of soft tissue. Attenuation are connected to linear branching opacities that have more than one contiguous branching site, thus resembling a tree in bud. The tree in bud pattern represents bronchiolar luminal impaction with mucus, pus, or fluid, which demarcates the normally invisible branching course of the peripheral airways. The tree in bud sign has primarily been used as a descriptive term for abnormalities found on CT scans of the lung in patients with endobronchial spread of Mycobacterium tuberculosis. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel and share if you like this video. Thank you.